ladies and gentlemen, today we are reacting to the most extreme things humans did to survive, by simple pain. Let's get into it. I'm intrigued, bro. Let's go.
Blue John Canyon incident.
Okay.
On April 26, 2003, 27-year-old Aaron Ralston biked 15 miles into the remote canyonlands of southeastern Utah, planning an 8-hour solo hike through Blue John Canyon. The experienced mountaineer and mechanical engineer had quit his corporate job to pursue his passion for climbing.
Okay,
that
I can
afternoon,
respect that.
while descending through a narrow section of the slot canyon, disaster struck. As Ralston climbed down from a suspended boulder, it suddenly shifted, first smashing his left hand and then crushing his right hand and wrist against the canyon wall. The
800 pounds! Oh, I feel so bad, bro. Look, I'm all for doing what you love. Cave climbing or a cliff, like the things in caves, things in small spaces is not gonna work for me, bro. I'm sorry. For you cave divers and crevice crawlers, I'm not with that. Y'all can do that on your own. I'm not about to die in a cave because I was crushed by a 800-pound boulder. No.
100-pound chalkstone had him completely pinned 100 feet below the desert surface and 20 miles from the nearest paved road. Ralston had broken his own first rule of solo hiking by not telling anyone where he was going, with only 300.
How are you gonna break your own rule? I'm sorry for pausing. How are you gonna break your own rule? Like, you're not gonna tell nobody where you was going? It's not that hard to shoot a text to your homie. About to go cave diving alone. If I'm not back by this time, come look for me. Boom. So then you know your homie about to come look for you. But now you're just about to die.
150 milliliters of water and 2 burritos. He knew rescue was unlikely.
Dang.
For 3 days, he tried everything to free himself. He attempted to chip away at the boulder with his dull multi-tool knife, but barely made a scratch. He rigged a pulley system with his climbing rope, but couldn't budge the massive rock. As his water ran out, he was forced to drink his own urine. On the fourth day,
I couldn't. My own urine. And because he had no water after a while, that thing probably tasted awful. The more dehydrated, because the less y'all drink water, when y'all don't drink enough water, your urine starts to smell absolutely terrible. Especially if you drink like little water and like a bunch of soda, coffee, whatever, your urine smells absolutely awful. So imagine trying to drink that, bro. Oh, I feel so bad for bro.
Convinced he would die, Ralston carved his name, birth date, and presumed date of death into the canyon wall.
Okay.
He videotaped goodbye.
Valid. I would do the same. Goodbye, everyone.
Messages to his family, preparing for the end. But on the 5th day, something changed. Ralston had a vivid hallucination of himself playing with a future child while missing part of his right arm. This vision gave him the belief that he would live. When he woke on the 6th day, his trapped arm had begun to decompose. Desperately, he realized he could break his radius and ulna bones using torque against the boulder. He snapped both.
I'm sorry. Look, I know my life is in danger. I know I'm about to die. I can't break my own bones, guys. I'm sorry. That's gonna hurt. I was like, oh, but Justin, what about surviving? I'm sorry. I can't physically do that to myself, bro. I think I die. I think I would have to die in that moment, bro. I'm sorry.
Both bones. Then began the agonizing hour-long process of amputating his own arm with the dull 2-inch knife. He cut through skin, muscle, and tendons, using the pliers on his multi-tool for the tougher tissues. Using tubing from his camelback as a tourniquet, he carefully managed the bleeding. Once free, Ralston's ordeal was far from over. He rappelled down a 65-foot wall.
Okay. First, hold on. Look. See, as you can see, this right here is where the boulder pretty much traps his arm. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say here. You don't have to cut your arm all the way up here, bro. You can cut it to like your elbow. You're cutting more than necessary. Like, that's more pain because you have more muscle mass up here. If you chop it like where your elbow is, it'd be easier. Or like just a little bit like forearm. You're cutting so much. Like, come on now. Cause look, elbow to elbow, you could logically cut your arm off like right here, and you'll be good. And it'll probably take less. It would be less painful because you have less muscle and everything there. Personally, that's what I would have done.
Once free, Ralston's ordeal was far from over. He rappelled down a 65-foot wall with one arm, then hiked 7 miles toward his truck. After walking for hours, he encountered a Dutch family on vacation who gave him water and alerted authorities. A helicopter picked him up just 4 hours after his self-amputation. Ralston had lost 40 pounds and 25% of his blood volume, but he was alive. The incident later inspired the 2010 film 127 Hours.
Oh, snap, bro's got a movie about this. Are we... Y'all go watch that movie and let me know how it is, because I'm not about to go watch this. Is it just him stuck in a... I want to know how that plot is.
That captured what it meant to endure 6 days alone in a canyon and brought international attention to Ralston's survival. The real story, however, remains one of the most extreme self-rescue cases ever documented. Ciula Grande Incident. On June 6, 1985, 25-year-old Joe Simpson and his climbing partner Simon Yates reached the summit of Ciula Grande, becoming the first to successfully climb the previously unclimbed west face of the 20,814-foot Peru.
Oh, that's high. That's high. That's high. That's high. Are any of our viewers like cave climbers, like mountain climbers, bro? I can't do it, bro. I couldn't. I'm not scared of heights because I love roller coasters. I'm scared to fall that high up. Like, I need to be, even if I'm safely secure, rope could snap, I could go flying. No, personally, I'm not doing it. And y'all had to pay me $500,000, 500 mil, and then I need to be guaranteed to live after. That's the only way I'm doing it. Other than that, no.
Peak. But their triumph quickly turned to nightmare during the descent. The pair chose to descend via the treacherous North Ridge in deteriorating weather conditions. On the 4th day, while navigating a steep ice wall, Simpson fell and landed awkwardly, crushing his tibia into his knee joint and shattering his right leg. With no hope of helicopter rescue in this remote location...
I know! That's like jamming... I know it's probably not the equivalent, but... Like, have you ever jammed your finger straight into, like, your joint and everything? That's probably what that felt like, just in your leg. He cannot move that. Look how look. That thing is as straight as can be. He's in... Yeah, you're not getting up. You're not walking that off, bro. I'm sorry, gang.
Yates made a desperate decision to try lowering Simpson down the mountain using their two 150-foot ropes tied together. The system required Yates to dig a snow seat and lower Simpson 300 feet at a time, then down climb to repeat the process. For hours, this agonizing method worked as they descended approximately 3,000 feet. But as darkness fell and a blizzard struck, visibility vanished. Yates unknowingly lowered Simpson over a cliff edge, leaving him dangling in space above a deep crevasse. Simpson couldn't climb back up the rope, and Yates couldn't pull him up from his precarious position in soft snow. For over an hour, Yates held the rope as Simpson hung helplessly below. Finally, feeling his own anchor failing and knowing they would both die if he was pulled from the cliff, Yates made an impossible decision. He cut the rope. Simpson fell deep into a crevasse, crashing onto an ice bridge. Miraculously, he survived the fall, but found himself trapped in what he thought was his tomb.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah, sorry, gang. I gotta cut you loose or we're both dying. So you're... okay. Hold on. What are y'all doing? Are y'all letting your homie die and you live? Yes, I guess you could tell the story and maybe get help. I don't know.
Crevasse was a bergschrund that could be 50 to 500 feet deep. Instead of waiting to die, Simpson made another desperate choice. He descended deeper into the darkness, hoping to find a way out rather than slowly freeze to death on the ledge. About 70 feet down, he discovered a slope of unconsolidated snow at a 65-degree angle that led to daylight. Using his one good leg, he made hopping jumps to climb out of the crevasse, but his escape was only the beginning. Simpson spent the next 3.5 days crawling and hopping 5 miles across the glacier and rocky moraines back to base camp. Without food or water, delirious from pain and exhaustion, he dragged himself through the night, driven by sheer willpower. Hours before Yates was scheduled to abandon base camp, Simpson's desperate cries were heard. He had made it back from the dead. The jungle nightmare.
Yeah, you didn't even bother to help your homie? Like, find your homie at least? I would be like, hey, bro, I'm still alive. Yeah, it's probably too late. So you probably just let him die and just kept it pushing. Okay. Okay.
Early November 1981, 22-year-old backpacker Yossi Ginsburg set off into the Bolivian
Backpacker? What the heck is that? What? That's a thing? You mean hiker? No, he's a backpacker. What's a backpacker? I'm gonna say, I need to know what that is.
Amazon with 3 companions, seeking adventure in one of the world's most dangerous jungles. The group included Marcus Stam, a Swiss teacher, Kevin Gale, an American photographer, and Karl Ruprechter, an Austrian who claimed to be a geologist. Ruprechter promised to lead them
How do you claim to be a geologist? So you're not? Okay.
to a remote indigenous village rich with gold. After days of difficult jungle travel, the group discovered that Ruprechter was not really a geologist, but a con artist with no jungle experience.
Oh.
They decided to split up, with Ginsburg and Gale building a raft to navigate the dangerous Tuichi River back to civilization.
Okay.
What happened next changed everything. The makeshift raft hit rapids and was swept toward a waterfall. Gale managed to jump to shore, but Ginsburg and the raft went over the falls.
Dang.
Alone and lost in the Amazon with no supplies, map, or survival training, Ginsburg began a 19-day nightmare that pushed him to the very edge of human endurance. During his first week alone, Ginsburg survived on whatever he could find. He foraged for wild fruits and eggs from bird nests.
Okay.
He waited beneath trees for monkeys to fall so he could eat them. When he found a small puddle
Huh?
of water, he drank until his
What?
beneath trees for monkeys to fall so he could eat them.
I'm sorry. For monkeys to fall so you can eat them? I'm a little. Um, the, monkeys don't just fall out the trees. Okay.
When he found a small puddle of water, he drank until his stomach couldn't hold more. The jungle was merciless. Swarms of fire ants covered his body, and he pulled them from his eyelids, ears, and hair as blood seeped through his skin. Army ants attacked him one night while he slept, tearing at his flesh through his mosquito net. Termites bit him constantly, and a fungus infection left his feet bloody with oozing pus. On the 6th night, a hungry jaguar stalked him in complete darkness. Without fire or weapons, Ginsburg could only pray the big cat would move on. As days passed, he began hallucinating from hunger and exhaustion. He lost all sense of direction in the endless green maze. His feet rotted from constant moisture, and leeches attached themselves to his body. Ginsburg faced attacks from wild boar and the constant threat of venomous snakes. At his lowest point, he ate insects, lizards, and raw bird eggs to survive. Finally, on the 19th day, Ginsburg encountered Kevin again, who was traveling with local helpers searching for him. Ginsburg was found on the brink of death, weighing barely 100 pounds and suffering from severe malnutrition.
Wow. Is that really him? Or if that's really him, then dang. You can see, look, you can see bro's whole, like, ribs and everything. Like, you can almost see his heart. Like, look, like, dang. Wow, bro.
And infected wounds. The Everest Resurrection. On May 25th, 2006, 50-year-old Australian mountaineer Lincoln Hall achieved his dream of reaching the summit of Mount Everest after a previous failed attempt in 1984, but his celebration was short-lived. During the descent from the 29,029-foot peak, Hall began showing signs of severe altitude sickness. At 28,200 feet, he developed high-altitude cerebral edema, a life-threatening condition that caused dangerous swelling in his brain. The illness made him confused, disoriented, and combative. His Sherpa guides tried for hours to help him descend, but as nightfall approached and their oxygen supplies dwindled, Hall became unresponsive. Expedition leader Alexander Abramov made the heartbreaking decision to order the guides to leave Hall on the mountain and return to camp to save their own lives. At 28,540 feet, just below the summit, Hall was pronounced dead. A statement was released to the media, and his wife Barbara was notified that her husband had perished on Everest. But Hall wasn't dead. Through the freezing night, with temperatures plunging far below zero and howling winds, he lay unconscious on a narrow ridge above an 8,000-foot drop. Wearing inadequate gear for the conditions, Hall somehow survived 12 hours in conditions that should have killed him within minutes. The next morning, as an American climbing team led by Dan Mazur made their own summit attempt, they were shocked to discover Hall sitting cross-legged on the summit ridge, very much alive. When Mazur approached, Hall looked up and said calmly, "I imagine you are surprised to see me here." Though still confused and hallucinating from the brain swelling, Hall was conscious and able to speak. Mazur and his team immediately abandoned their own summit bid, knowing they had only one chance to save Hall's life.
Hey, WAW team, bro. Yes, thank you, bro. No, the fact that you just sitting there cross-legged, like not even trying to get down. He probably knows. He probably knew he was cooked.
They gave him oxygen, warm clothing, and food, then began the dangerous process of helping him descend. The rescue required enormous sacrifice from Mazur's team, who gave up their only opportunity to summit Everest. Hall was eventually...
What do you mean your only opportunity? You could just go back to, reschedule for, like, another day. Like, reschedule that thing for, like, next month, bro. What you talking about?
Evacuated by helicopter from a lower camp and survived, though he lost the tips of several fingers and a toe to frostbite. He credited his survival to his study of Tibetan Buddhism and an unshakable will to live. Sahara Marathon Incident.
Okay. Oh, that's a crazy
On
picture.
April 10th,
Okay.
1994, 38-year-old Italian police officer Mauro Prosperi lined up with approximately 80 other runners at the start of the Marathon des Sables,
Okay.
a grueling 156-mile ultramarathon.
Nope, and y'all not catching me on that. No. Y'all not about to... I can barely walk 2 miles without being tired. You expect me to do a marathon that's 156 miles? No. No. Start, finish. Wait, is it... Does that mean this part of the track is close enough to, like, just cross over? So you could save yourself maybe an extra 4 miles if you just cross over right here, because those look pretty close. Like, those look pretty close.
Across the Sahara Desert in Morocco. The former Olympic pentathlete had trained for months, running 25 miles daily while deliberately reducing his water intake to prepare for the brutal conditions. On the 4th day of the race, during the longest 57-mile stage, temperatures soared to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. At 1 p.m., after passing the 3rd checkpoint, Prosperi was maintaining a strong 7th-place position when an unexpected sandstorm struck. The blinding storm completely disoriented him, and when it cleared hours later, Prosperi could see no other runners or race markers. He was utterly alone in the vast Sahara. For the first 2 days, Prosperi rationed his remaining water to half a bottle while walking during cooler hours to conserve energy.
Okay.
He ate only 1 energy bar, trying to make his food last. By day 3, dehydration was setting in severely. He was forced to drink his own urine to survive.
See, that's why I gotta bring more water. I can't resort to drinking my own urine, bro. No, better yet, this is why I stay home. What are we talking about? I'm not doing this in 115-degree weather. No, bro, no.
On day 4, desperately searching for shelter from the scorching sun, Prosperi discovered a Marabou shrine, an ancient stone tomb. Inside, bats hung from the ceiling. Using his knife, he killed and ate the bats raw, drinking their blood for moisture.
I can't. I feel no. If I would have known this was gonna happen to me, I'm staying home. Like, I understand this was his passion. This was his, this was his thing. This was what he likes to do. What are you talking about? I'm gonna have to end up killing bats, drinking blood, vampire style. Nah. Look at his face. You can tell that thing is nasty. Look, that's the face of someone who just wants to throw up, but knows if I don't eat this, I'm gonna die. Respect to him. Respect to him, bro.
As his condition worsened, Prosperi wrote a goodbye note to his wife on the tomb wall.
She's never gonna see it. Look. If I, but I guess it's just for him, bro. You know what?
Attempted to take his own life by slitting his wrists, but his blood was so thick from dehydration that the wounds wouldn't bleed enough to kill him.
Dang. That's sad. No. Hold on. No. I'm just gonna shut up.
When he woke up alive, Prosperi found new determination to survive. He set off again into the desert, licking dew from rocks at dawn and hunting for insects and lizards to eat. He buried himself in sand at night to stay warm as
Okay, that's low-key smart. That's a low-key smart move. Okay, I can respect that.
temperatures plummeted. On day 8, he found a tiny oasis with a puddle of fresh water and drank until he was full.
Okay.
On day 9, barely conscious and weighing just 99 pounds, Prosperi was found by Algerian military authorities after wandering 180 miles off course and unknowingly crossing the border from Morocco into Algeria.
Whoa.
Doctors said his liver had nearly failed, and he required extensive intravenous rehydration to restore his body. The Blackface Incident. On May 10th, 1996, Texas pathologist Beck Weathers joined a commercial expedition led by renowned guide Rob Hall, attempting to reach the summit of Mount Everest.
What's with these people wanting to climb Everest? What is the point of climbing Everest? Y'all let me know. Why would y'all do this? Like, what do y'all get besides like the thrill? Y'all gotta go up and y'all gotta go down. I'm not climbing Everest. I'm not. No.
A professional mountaineer, but he was an experienced climber who had turned to extreme adventure to cope with severe depression. What he didn't anticipate was how the
VR. Look. VR experience climbing gym. I don't know, bro. Personally, I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
High altitude would affect his vision. Weathers had undergone radial keratotomy eye surgery 18 months earlier, and as the team climbed higher, his eyesight deteriorated rapidly. By the time they reached high on the southeast ridge near Camp 4, Weathers was effectively blind. Unable to continue safely, Hall instructed Weathers to wait there while he guided another client to the summit, promising to return for him on the descent.
No, they're not coming back for you, bro. You decided to do this a year after having eyesight. Well, you know what? I'm assuming he didn't know. So now I'm up on a mountain. Can't see nothing. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, I'm just up here blind. Does he like the view now? My bad, guys. I apologize.
But Hall never came back. While assisting another climber, Hall became trapped high on the mountain and later died. As a massive blizzard struck Everest, Weathers and several other climbers became lost and disoriented, just a few hundred yards from the safety of Camp 4. When guide Michael Groom tried to lead the group back to camp, the storm's fury made navigation impossible. The group huddled together for hours as temperatures plummeted, and hurricane-force winds battered them. By the time there was a brief break in the storm, Weathers had been so weakened by exposure that he and 4 others were left behind while stronger climbers went for help. That night, Weathers lay in the snow, slipping deeper into a hypothermic coma.
Okay. Which one? Look. I know either way he's hypothermic comas. I know either way this is bad. Is it better to lay in snow or better to lay on like the cold mountain ground? Which one's better? Which one's like keeping you slightly more warm? Y'all let me know in the comments below. Which one y'all think it is? Personally, I think it's safer to lay on the cold mountain ground. I don't think the snow. Either way, you're cold. I don't know.
A fellow guide found him the next morning, but determined he was too far gone to save. Weathers was officially left for dead.
Dang.
His condition was so grave that his wife Peach received a phone call in Dallas, informing her that her husband had died on the mountain. But 15 hours after being abandoned, something remarkable happened. Weathers regained consciousness. Despite being severely hypothermic with massive frostbite covering his hands and face, he somehow found the strength to stand up and stagger toward Camp 4. When he stumbled into camp, his teammates were shocked. His face was so blackened and swollen from frostbite that they barely recognized him. He was left for dead a second time when another storm collapsed his tent overnight, and fellow climbers again assumed he had died. But once more, Weathers proved them wrong. The next morning, rescuers found him still breathing.
Teammates, bro. What are you talking about? My 10 cousins? You like, yeah, he's dead now. Bro, they wanted you dead. You got like a bounty on you, bro? Why are they just leaving you? Yeah, he might be dead. Let's just leave him. Y'all not gonna at least check a pulse? Something.
And organized one of the highest altitude helicopter rescues at the time. Nepalese pilot Lieutenant Colonel Madan Khatri Chetri flew his aircraft into the deadly thin air twice to evacuate Weathers and another critically injured climber. Weathers survived, but paid a terrible price. Frostbite forced the amputation of his right hand, all fingers and thumb on his left hand, parts of both feet and his nose. Yet he considered himself lucky to be alive, crediting thoughts of his family with giving him the will to survive against impossible odds.
Wow.
If you'd like to see more stories like this, make sure to subscribe and feel free.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't go cave climbing, don't go mountain climbing, don't go cave diving. Stay home, with your family, bro. Do not risk it for the biscuit. There's no reward besides the thrill of it. None of these guys got paid. Most of them died, or almost died, or lost their limbs. And yeah, I'm not doing this, bro. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to go check out more of our videos on the Bro Show. I'm gonna make sure to drop a like on this video by Simply Paint W video, man. And yeah, I will see you guys on next Bro Show video. Peace.